The Alliance ship Silent Accord moved through deep space like a quiet shadow. Its hull was scarred from many old battles, but its engines still burned steady and strong. Inside the ship, many species lived and worked together. Some had scales, some had fur, some had skin like polished stone. Only one crew member came from Earth. His name was Marcus Hale. Marcus was not the strongest being on the ship. He was not the fastest, and his senses were dull compared to many aliens. But humans were new to the galaxy, and Marcus had been chosen carefully. He was calm under pressure, trained to think before acting, and known for one thing above all else: self-control. That quality was being tested more than he realized. The trouble had started 6 hours earlier when the pirates attacked. The ambush came without warning. One moment the ship was quiet, drifting between stars, and the next moment alarms screamed through every corridor. Energy blasts struck the shields again and again. The bridge filled with sharp voices speaking in many languages at once. Marcus had been in the engineering wing when the first impact hit. He was thrown against the wall, his shoulder burning with pain. The lights went out, then returned in red emergency glow. He stood up slowly, breathing through the pain, and checked his wrist console. Half the ship was damaged. Several sections were sealed off. Crew members were injured. Instead of panicking, Marcus started moving. He helped lift fallen beams. He dragged an unconscious technician to safety. He followed protocol even when others shouted in fear. When he reached the auxiliary control room, he found a junior officer frozen in place, hands shaking, unable to act. Marcus did not yell. He spoke calmly, step by step, guiding the officer through restarting the systems. Together, they brought life back to the ship's secondary shields just in time. The pirates fled soon after. They always did when prey fought back harder than expected. When it was over, silence returned. But something had changed. The crew watched Marcus differently now. Among them was Luri. She belonged to the Velari, a tall, pale-skinned species with eyes like liquid silver. To humans, her expressions were difficult to read. To her people, body language spoke louder than words. Luri had been observing Marcus since he boarded the ship weeks ago. That was her assignment. The Council wanted to understand humans better. They were too new, too unpredictable, too interesting. During the attack, Luri had seen Marcus take command of chaos without ever claiming authority. She saw him place himself between danger and others without hesitation. She saw his hands tremble afterward, not from fear, but from exhaustion he refused to show. In Velari culture, such restraint meant something very specific: trustworthiness. After the battle, the ship was badly damaged. Several crew quarters were destroyed. Emergency protocols activated automatically, reallocating living spaces. Some crew members were assigned to share rooms, something most species accepted easily. Humans, however, had different customs. Marcus learned this when his console displayed a new message. Temporary quarters reassigned. Shared accommodation required. He sighed quietly. Sharing a room was one thing, sharing a bed was another, but arguing with ship protocol was pointless. He followed the corridor lights to the new quarters. The door opened with a soft hiss. Luri was already inside. The room was small, one bed. One soft light glowing from the wall, no divider, no second sleeping platform. Marcus stopped just inside the doorway. Luri turned toward him. Her posture was relaxed, her breathing steady. To her people, this was a sign of peace. "You are delayed," she said calmly. "There was a medical report," Marcus replied. "I wanted to make sure everyone was stable." She studied him for a moment. "You prioritize others even when injured." He shrugged slightly. "It's normal where I come from. It is not normal here." Silence stretched between them. Marcus cleared his throat. "Looks like there's only one bed." "Yes," Luri said. She stepped closer, her movements smooth and unafraid. "The system judged this arrangement acceptable." Marcus nodded slowly. "If you're uncomfortable, I can sleep on the floor." Luri tilted her head. "Why would I be uncomfortable?" He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Humans usually value personal space." "Ah," she said softly, "another difference." She moved to the bed and sat down. Then, without hesitation, she lay back and pulled the cover over herself. Her voice was calm, almost thoughtful. "One bed," she said. "No rules." Marcus froze. To human ears, the words meant something dangerous, something deeply personal. His heart rate jumped, and he forced himself to breathe slowly. But Luri's body language did not change. There was no tension, no invitation, only complete trust. She patted the empty space beside her. "In Velari culture," she continued, Shared rest during crisis means safety. It means neither will cause harm. It means there is nothing to fear. Marcus swallowed. Thank you for explaining, he said carefully. But I want to be sure I understand. When you say no rules, what does that mean to you? It means no threat, Lurie replied. No violence. No betrayal, complete rest. Marcus let out a slow breath he had not realized he was holding. I appreciate that, he said, but humans have rules even when others don't. She watched him closely now. Even when permission is given, especially then. For the first time, something like surprise crossed her face. Marcus moved to the side of the bed, sitting on the edge, keeping respectful distance. He removed his boots and jacket, placing them neatly on the floor. Then he lay down carefully, leaving space between them. The ship creaked softly around them. For a while neither spoke. Lurie broke the silence. You could have taken advantage. Marcus stared at the ceiling. That wouldn't make me strong, it would make me weak. Interesting, she murmured. Minutes passed. The tension in Marcus's body slowly faded. Exhaustion finally caught up with him. He could feel sleep pulling at the edges of his mind. Before he drifted off, Lurie spoke again, her voice quieter now. The Council fears humans, she said. They think you hide your true nature. Marcus smiled faintly. We do hide things, just not what they think. What do you hide? Our worst instincts, he answered, so they don't control us. Lurie turned slightly, careful not to touch him. Then perhaps that is your greatest strength. Outside the ship, the stars burned silently. Inside, two beings from different worlds shared rest, not as predator and prey, not as strangers, but as allies beginning to understand each other. And somewhere far away, forces were already moving, unaware that humanity had just passed its first true test among the stars. The quiet did not last. Marcus woke to a low vibration moving through the ship, like a slow heartbeat out of rhythm. His eyes opened at once. Training pulled him awake before fear could. The red emergency lights were gone, replaced by a dim blue glow, but something still felt wrong. He stayed still. Beside him, Lurie's breathing had changed. Slower, deeper, but her eyes were open. Valeri's eyes reflected light even in near darkness. You feel it too, Marcus said softly. Yes, she replied. The ship is uneasy. He shifted carefully and checked his wrist console. Power fluctuations, minor but repeated, not enough to trigger alarms, enough to be hidden. That's not battle damage, Marcus said. That's deliberate. Lurie sat up smoothly. Sabotage? Looks like it. They dressed quickly. Marcus moved with quiet care, every step controlled. Lurie watched him with focused attention. He noticed it but said nothing. The corridor outside was empty, too empty. Most species slept deeply during rest cycles. Humans did not. Marcus trusted that instinct now. He moved toward engineering, signaling Lurie to follow but stay behind him. As they passed a junction, Marcus stopped suddenly and raised a hand. Listen, he whispered. Lurie listened. At first she heard only the hum of the ship, then she noticed something else. A faint clicking sound, metallic, rhythmic. Marcus leaned toward the wall panel and pressed his ear close. His face hardened. Timer, he said. Explosive charge, small but enough to disable power routing. Lurie's eyes widened. Who would place this here? Someone who knows the ship, Marcus answered. And knows we're vulnerable. He opened the panel with careful hands. Inside, a compact device blinked slowly. He did not touch it. Can you disarm it? Lurie asked. Yes, Marcus said, but not fast. The clicking sped up. Before Lurie could speak, Marcus made a decision. He removed his jacket and wrapped it around the device, then closed the panel partially. It'll reduce damage, he said. Get back. I will not leave you, Lurie replied at once. He looked at her sharply. This isn't a choice. Move. She hesitated for less than a second, then stepped back into the corridor, eyes fixed on him. The explosion was small but violent. A dull thump shook the corridor. The panel blew outward. Marcus was thrown back, hitting the wall hard. Pain exploded through his side. The ship groaned. Alarms finally sounded. Lurie rushed forward. Marcus was on one knee, breathing hard, blood seeping through his sleeve. He waved her away from the panel. I'm fine, he said through clenched teeth. Help me stand. She supported him easily. Your definition of fine is flawed. Still standing, he replied. That counts. They moved quickly now. Overhead lights flickered as systems struggled to reroute power. Voices filled the comm channels, sharp with fear and confusion. Marcus activated the emergency channel. This is Marcus Hale. We have internal sabotage. Repeat, internal sabotage. Lock down all access points and perform crew verification immediately. There was a pause, then the captain's voice answered. On whose authority? Mine, Marcus said. Or you can wait until the next charge goes off. Silence. Proceed, the captain said. They reached engineering to find chaos. Several crew members argued loudly. Tools were scattered. Someone had tried to override safety protocols and failed. Marcus stepped forward, ignoring the pain burning through his ribs. Everyone stop, he said. His voice was not loud, but it cut through the noise. We don't have time for fear, he continued. We have someone on this ship trying to kill us. If you want to survive, you listen. Some bristled at the human's tone, others hesitated. Lurie stepped beside him. He speaks with calm, she said to the room. Listen. That changed things. Marcus gave clear orders, simple ones, check systems, secure power, no one moved alone, no arguments. Within minutes, the room began to stabilize. Then one of the technicians screamed. A second device was found, then a third. The saboteur was fast. Marcus studied the device patterns on a display. They're guiding us, he said, forcing us to chase. To what end? Lurie asked. He frowned. To split us or draw us somewhere important. The answer came too quickly. The bridge lost power. The ship drifted. Without the bridge, navigation was blind. Life support would fail next if power routing collapsed. Marcus did not wait. Get me access to maintenance tunnels, he said. Now. Lurie moved instantly. She cleared the path, issuing commands in her sharp, precise language. Doors opened. Panels slid aside. Marcus entered the narrow tunnel without hesitation. It was dark, cramped, hot. His injured side screamed with every movement. He pushed through it. Lurie followed, slower but steady. Why do you push yourself? She asked. Others could do this. Others might hesitate, Marcus replied. I won't. They reached the central relay hub. Someone was already there. The saboteur turned, startled. It was not who Marcus expected, not a pirate, not an outsider. It was a council species. Fear filled the alien's eyes. Humans were a mistake, the saboteur hissed. You destabilize everything. You don't belong here. Marcus raised his empty hands. This doesn't have to end badly. You will ruin the balance, the alien said, backing toward the controls. I'm restoring order. You're killing people, Marcus said quietly, for the greater good. The alien reached for the final trigger. Marcus lunged. Pain exploded as he tackled the saboteur. They crashed into the console. Sparks flew. The alien struck him with surprising strength, claws raking across his injured side. Marcus grunted but did not let go. Lurie shouted and rushed forward, but the space was too tight. The alien raised a weapon. Marcus grabbed the wrist and twisted hard. The weapon clattered away. He pinned the alien against the wall, breathing hard, blood dripping onto the metal floor. Don't, Marcus said. Don't make me do this. The alien struggled weakly. You are animals pretending to be civilized. Marcus leaned closer. His voice was steady. No, he said. We are animals who chose not to be. He knocked the alien unconscious with a precise strike. The relay stabilized. Power returned slowly. Lights brightened. The ship shuddered, then steadied. Security arrived moments later. The saboteur was taken away. The crisis passed like a storm, finally moving on. Marcus sagged against the wall. Lurie caught him. You are injured, she said urgently. Yeah, he admitted. Now I am. Medical staff rushed him to the infirmary. As they worked, voices spread through the ship. Not of fear this time, but of awe. The human had seen what others missed. He had acted without authority. He had protected enemies as well as allies. He had stopped a disaster alone. Marcus drifted in and out of consciousness as the medics worked. He heard Lurie's voice nearby, sharp and emotional in a way he had never heard before. Hours later, he woke fully. Lurie sat beside his bed. You stayed, he said. Yes. How bad is it? You will heal, she replied. Humans are resilient, he smiled faintly. We try, she studied him for a long moment. In Valeri culture, she said, trust is given once, betrayal ends all bonds. And, Marcus asked. And you have shown something beyond trust, she said. You showed restraint when given freedom, mercy when given power, endurance when given pain. He looked away, uncomfortable. I just did what needed doing. That, she said softly, is what frightens the council. Marcus met her eyes. Then maybe it's time they learned what humans really are. Outside the infirmary window, stars drifted past once more. The ship was alive. And the galaxy had taken another step toward understanding humanity, whether it was ready or not. The silent Accord moved steadily through deep space, its engines humming like a living thing. The damage from the sabotage had been repaired, but the tension remained. Whispers spread quietly among the crew. about the human who had acted alone, about the calm he carried, about the way he had faced danger without hesitation. Marcus Hale lay in the infirmary, his side bandaged and his arm in a sling. The medics checked him frequently, impressed by the speed of his recovery. Human healing was slow compared to some alien species, but the body itself seemed durable, resilient beyond expectations. Lurie sat beside him, watching him carefully. Her silver eyes reflected light in the dim room. She had not left his side since he was brought in, a quiet guardian and observer. For her people, witnessing the strength of trust and restraint was an honor, and in Marcus, she had seen something extraordinary. "The council is convening," she said softly. "They will want to speak with you." Marcus shifted slightly on the bed. "I don't like councils." "Perhaps," she said, "but the galaxy has already noticed you. You must face them." He nodded. He had faced danger in the tunnels, had faced the saboteur, and had faced the uncertainty of a new galaxy. A council was nothing compared to that. When they arrived at the council chamber, it was filled with beings from dozens of species, each with their own customs and authority. The room was vast, with walls that reflected light in shifting patterns, and a central platform where the council elders sat. Their eyes were sharp, some curious, some wary, some openly skeptical. The room fell silent as Marcus entered. Lurie guided him to the center, standing close but leaving him room to move freely. "Marcus Hale," the chief elder began, a being with crystal-like skin that shimmered with every gesture, "you have disrupted our expectations. Your actions during the sabotage were unconventional. Explain yourself." Marcus spoke simply, clearly, and without fear. "I acted to protect the crew and the ship. I did what needed to be done. I did not act for glory or authority or reward. I acted because it was the right choice at the moment." There was a murmur among the council members, unusual but not unwelcome. "You were alone," another elder said, "while the saboteur worked. Your species is new to our galaxy. We know little of you. Why should we believe your actions reflect the true nature of humans?" Marcus met the elder's gaze steadily. "Because what I did could have been done any other way, violently or selfishly. I chose not to. That is what humans are capable of, not only strength but restraint, not only power but responsibility." Lurie watched carefully. Every gesture, every word, every pause Marcus took carried weight. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but perhaps they had qualities that no other species possessed so completely. Courage, self-control, and an ability to protect others even when their own survival was at stake. The chief elder leaned forward. "You speak of morality and restraint. Your species has survived on a single planet, yet you are willing to extend such principles across the stars. Why?" Marcus paused. He thought of the countless times he had seen humans act with courage, with compassion, even when fear threatened to control them. He thought of the trust he had built with the crew and with Lurie. He spoke simply. "Because it is the only way to survive with honor. Because strength without restraint leads to destruction. Because trust once given is sacred." The council remained silent, letting his words sink in. Lurie stepped forward slightly. "I have observed humans for weeks," she said. "They are capable of fear, yes, but they also choose trust, loyalty, and protection. Marcus Hale has shown these qualities in full. He has not only preserved this ship, but he has preserved our belief that humans can stand among us not as outsiders, but as equals." Another elder spoke, her voice calm but firm. "Your culture is untested on a galactic scale, yet you have displayed wisdom that surpasses many who have lived in our societies for centuries. What you have done is rare indeed." Marcus looked around the chamber. Every being here had power, authority, and knowledge beyond his comprehension, yet he felt calm. He had faced worse than doubt before. He understood the danger, but he also understood that trust was a two-way path. He chose to offer it, and it had been recognized. "You have learned from this," the chief elder said, "and you have taught us something as well." Marcus nodded. "We all learn from each other. That is how we survive. That is how we grow stronger." The council deliberated quietly, their voices soft but tense. Lurie remained beside Marcus, her presence steady, a silent acknowledgement of his strength and restraint. After a few long minutes, the chief elder spoke again. "The council acknowledges the actions of Marcus Hale. Your courage, restraint, and loyalty are exemplary. You have proven that humans are capable of values beyond strength alone. This has redefined how we view your species." A wave of murmurs ran through the room. Some nods of respect, some looks of astonishment. For the first time, the humans were not outsiders in this galaxy. They were allies, respected not only for their physical capabilities, but for their choices, their moral strength, and their courage. Marcus felt a strange weight lift from his shoulders. Recognition was not what he sought, but understanding. That was a different matter. He had given his best, and it had been seen. Lurie smiled faintly. "They will no longer doubt your kind," she said softly. "Not after this." He looked at her. "And what about you?" "I have seen what humans can do when they act with honor," she said. "I will carry this knowledge forward. Others will listen when I speak. You have changed how my people will view humans." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Then maybe we are ready to be here truly." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The silent accord glided among them, steady and unbroken. The sabotage had been stopped. The saboteur had been removed. The crew had survived, stronger and more united than before. The galaxy had learned something crucial. Humans were not simply a new species to be tested. They were beings of courage, resilience, and unexpected wisdom. They were capable of trust and restraint in equal measure. And in the vast, dangerous expanse of space, that combination could change the course of history. Marcus returned to his quarters later, Lurie at his side. The ship was quiet now, its hum a soothing presence. He removed his jacket and sat on the edge of the bed. Lurie remained standing, watching him, her posture relaxed but attentive. "You rested well?" she asked. "I did," he said, "thanks to your company." "You were awake far longer than most humans," she said. "I wanted to ensure you were safe." Marcus nodded. "You did more than that. You observed, you learned, and you helped. That counts for a lot." She smiled faintly. "Perhaps humans and Veleri are not so different after all." "Maybe not," Marcus said. "We just show it differently." He lay back on the bed, exhausted but unafraid. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders alike, but he had faced what few others could and survived. He had proven that humanity was capable of restraint, courage, and trust even in the face of uncertainty. Lurie stepped closer, placing a hand gently on the console near his bed. "One bed, no rules," she said softly. "You have honored that promise without needing instructions." Marcus smiled faintly, closing his eyes. "I suppose that is what humans do. We follow rules that matter even when none are given." Outside, the silent accord sailed onward, a quiet shadow gliding among the stars. Inside, two beings from different worlds rested in understanding, trust, and respect. The galaxy was watching, and humans had just made their mark. And somewhere far away, other species who had once doubted them began to reconsider. Strength alone was not enough. But the combination of courage, restraint, and loyalty, that could change everything. The galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were not simply survivors. They were allies, guardians, and a force that could stand with the strongest, and perhaps even lead when the time came. Marcus drifted into sleep knowing that the future was uncertain. But for the first time, he felt that humanity had a place in it, and that was a start. Lurie watched him, silent, thoughtful, and quietly proud. She had seen history made in small actions, in choices that seemed ordinary but were extraordinary. And she knew that the galaxy would remember this night. The silent accord moved on. The stars stretched endlessly, and humanity's story had only just begun.